Today we are doing TNReady review questions 45 through 48. Okay, let's take a look at number 45. Which expression or expressions is or are equivalent to 1 and 3/5 minus negative 7/10? Select all that apply. Okay, so we'll treat these as A, B, C, D, E, and F. Okay, now one thing to note when we have this minus and negative, and they give all of these, they have this 1 and 3/5 and the 7/10, 1 and 3/5 and the 7/10, 1 and 3/5 and the 7/10. It's in all of these problems. Okay, so they're not asking us to calculate this, they're asking us about the signs. And we can see here that 1 and 3/5 minus a negative is add the opposite. So this is the same as 1 and 3/5 plus 7/10. Okay, so we see 1 and 3/5 plus 7/10. That's not it. 1 and 3/5 plus 7/10. That's exactly it. Okay, and then 1 and 3/5 plus negative 7/10? No, because that would mean we added the same thing. That's a totally different problem. We have to add and take the opposite of that second number, okay, which would be plus plus, which is the same thing as plus. So it's definitely not C. And then 7/10 plus 1 and 3/5. Now this is a different order, but we know addition, the order does not matter when we add. Okay, so these things are equivalent. Okay, that's like doing 3 plus 2 and 2 plus 3. Either way, we're getting 5. Okay, so D is another correct answer. All right, and then we have this negative 3/5 minus negative. Well, this would be the plus plus, that's the same, but this is negative, so that is not correct. Okay, and then this last one, same thing. It's adding, but it's keeping the negative. So when we add these, we would get a negative number here because we would keep the signs. So that is not it as well. So B and D are our correct answers here. Number 46. Which number line models 25 plus negative 50 correctly? Okay, so we're going to start at 25. So this is positive 25. So let's take a look which one of these starts at positive 25. Positive 25. Okay, this one has a positive 25. This one has a positive 25. And these two don't even have positive 25 anywhere on here. All right, so plus negative 50. So that's going to be the same thing as 25 minus 50. All right, so we go to 25 here, and then we subtract 50. All right, so this one looks like it's actually going to negative 25 and then adding 50. And that's not what we're looking for here. We want this last one here, D, okay, where it goes to positive 25 first and then subtracts the 50 to end up at the negative 25 there. So D is my correct answer on that one. 47. Triangle PQR is similar to triangle DEF. Find the missing side lengths of triangle PQR. Remember, order matters on these. It shows you the order that they give you these letters, PQR, is the corresponding angles. So P corresponds with D, Q corresponds with E, and R corresponds with F. Okay, so D and P go together, which means this side length PQ, because Q goes with E, is this guy right here. So this is kind of flipped around, all right? And then, which would make this DF correspond to this PR, and then the 13 and the 15 would go together, okay? Now, when we're finding missing side lengths, we're using ratios, okay, the ratios. So my ratio of x is going to go to the 12, x over 12, which is going to mean 13 over 15.6. Oops, 15.6. All right. And then I'm just going to use my calculator and I'm going to do some division and some multiplication. I'm going to do 13 divided by 15.6. And that tells me 0.83 for every one. And I'm going to multiply that by 12. Okay, because I divide here and then multiply. And that is going to give me x equals 10. All right, one other way to look at this is if you figure out that 15 and 13 correspond, 13 is less than 15, which means x is going to have to be less than 12. All right, which leaves you 10 or 11 as your only two options there. Okay, and you can kind of work through that a little bit if that helps narrow your options as well. Okay, we got, again, x is 10, so that would be A there. Okay, last one, question 48. Lynn earns $75 per week mowing lawns and $7 per hour helping her father at his lawnmower shop on the weekends. If she works an average of 8 hours each weekend at the lawnmower shop, how many weeks will it take Lynn to earn enough money to buy a computer system that costs $968? All right. Well, if she works $7 an hour for 8 hours, that's going to be $56 in addition to the $75 she earns mowing. Okay, which means her total weekly allowance is going to be $131. And assuming she saves all of that money going towards her computer system, we would take 968 divided by the 131 per week, and that is going to tell us how many weeks it would take her to save. And it's going to be 7.389 weeks. All right. And so that means it's going to take, she won't have enough money at 7 weeks. She would have enough money at 8 weeks. All right. So that would be our correct answer there. Okay. All right. And that is questions 45 through 48.